right, Jeff, we have officially hit that spot of season 5.
I don't know.
No, this is the spot where it's like, let's hurry up and get through this so I can go press play.
Oh, that part? Yeah. We've been
Yes.
here. Yeah. Yep. Here we are.
Yes, it started last week. Last week was the
Mhm.
first time I said I really wanted to go press play. At the end of this episode, I need to go press play.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like, this is good. This is where I wanna be at this point of the series.
Yeah. This is exciting. It's like for the one of the first times, and it feels like years where it's just like, do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I want to record every single day. Let's do 2 a days, right? Let's just bust through this.
You and I were just talking about, and we don't know what's to come, but based on where we are right now at episode, was the 16, you should, if in season 5, watch episodes 1 and 2. I think we could just skip the rest of the Byron stuff, which is up to episode 11.
Oh gosh.
Pick up episode 12, which is the Ragged Edge.
Is there really that much Byron?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Pick up episode 12, which was the Ragged Edge, which is, I think that's where we started Garibaldi drinking again. Right?
Yes. That and Jakar became, yeah. That's when Jakar became the prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the,
So just go there. And then I not knowing where the show goes, I don't know if we could say skip Cora's mother, Cora's father, because that episode makes no sense to me right now. And then come back and you have episode 14, 15, and then this one. Like, that's not a bad season right there.
yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
literally just take these little scalpel, surgically extract the Byron storyline. You got a good season.
and it's tight and it's good. And, you know, season 5 should have been like an 11, 14 episode run. Call it good.
It's prestige TV.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Although I guess we would miss Day of the Dead. I did like that episode. I thought that was good. That was a well done episode.
I'll say 75 to 80% good.
Cool.
Take out all the Penn and Teller stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a waste.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time. Jeff and I over there, we are getting ready to record an audio podcast. We're podcasters. That's what we do. This show is not a podcast. This isn't the podcast. This is us recording the podcast. This is you guys watching us record the podcast. And frankly, this is the better show. I think
podcast about the podcast for the podcast about the sci-fi show about a podcast.
Babylon 5 was not about a podcast, Jeff.
We're not to the end yet.
You know what? That's what happened at the end of Deconstruction of Falling Stars. Was the guy was like reviewing stuff for his podcast before he flew off into
just getting ready. He's like, okay, this thing on. All right, let's do it.
I've heard a theory recently, Jeff.
Okay.
I kind of like it, and I kind of hope this is where it goes. All right. I should say this is not a theory that comes from people who have foreseen the rest of the show.
Okay.
You might have heard this before. It's the idea that the guy at the end of Deconstruction of Falling Stars.
Yeah.
The guy like a million years in the future that ascends into this energy being.
Mm-hmm.
That is Sheridan. Okay, now I think we actually saw his face and he looked different, but
he was a Mass Effect NPC.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that actually would have been Sheridan who ascended and became Kosh, and then Kosh actually went back in time to in the beginning and arrived on Babylon 5 and set the whole thing into motion. And therefore, Kosh is Sheridan from the future, just evolved. And you know that whole scene where Sheridan's falling really slowly?
Forever, yeah.
And Delenn says, Kosh, you have to go save him, and you know why it's really that important. Which makes that then actually make a whole lot of sense.
Because it's me.
Right. All right, fine.
I guess so.
There is like 0.0001% chance that is anywhere near what actually happens, but I kind of like it.
I'm going to twist that theory and say that dude is JMS.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I've watched this whole thing happen.
Oh, yeah.
Seen it all. And now I'm ascending into an energy being because I'm the author and I get to do that.
And he's going to go back, and he's been Kosh the entire time. He, as the author and the creator, has inserted himself into the story as a character that sacrifices themselves for the good and salvation.
And is then replaced by an evil version of himself that kind of ruins everything. Instead of calling him Kosh 2.0, we could call that, I don't know, TNT, for example.
I'm just saying, Jeff, maybe we are living in a simulation after all, except instead of a simulation, it's just a television show, or
it's not as exciting as The Matrix. It's just a 90s sci-fi show.
Right. We're living in a 90s sci-fi show. That's really what we are. There is a great maker out there.
Right.
You know, every time Londo says that, he's referring to JMS.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, this is not the podcast. We haven't even started yet, folks. See, this is what you get. This is how podcasting works. You have all the banter before, all the banter after. You got outtakes. You got mistakes. You got rabbit trails. You got the things that you get to laugh at us about or laugh along with us. And I don't know, maybe you hear the really wild, zany stuff that's going to get cut out of the podcast feed later. Anyway, that's what you guys are in store for. Jeff over there is going to push a button here in just a second and get us started as we go through this. Hey, listen, while you're here, like this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe while you're here to the channel. You can catch all sorts of stuff we have going on over here at the channel right now. And no spoilers down in the comments, guys. We're so close. We're so close to the end. Jeff, we have made it this far, being 99.8% spoiler free.
We're the Ivory Soap of spoiler free.
Yeah, like let's get it to the, like, we're so close.
Yeah.
We're, how many episodes is it? We're 7 episodes away now. Is it 6 episodes? Something like that.
I don't know. You're the math guy.
Yeah,
we have a couple.
It's 6, 7 if you count this episode. Anyway, with that, Jeff, hit that button. Let's get started. Let's go.
At least I should have buffed him just once.
Humans form communities.
And from that, diversity comes a strength.
Now get the hell out of our galaxy!
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
Jeff and I are 2 veteran Star Trek podcasters who got together to watch another 90s sci-fi show that we've never seen before. And we're taking all of those skills that we've learned as sci-fi podcasters, as Star Trek podcasters, and applying it right here to Babylon 5. By which we mean we are searching for morals, messages, meanings, mirrors to society, hope for a better future that we as humanity can one day achieve. And we're seeing how Babylon 5 is doing that in its own unique way.
It's really making its own Babylon 5 messages, not Star Trek messages. And that's important because, like Brent said, we are veteran Star Trek podcasters. And so to keep us honest, to keep us focused on the matter at hand, we play the rule of 3. It's a fun game that limits us to no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, a refund.
And if we happen to make one of those references, you're going to hear... Because while this is most definitely not a Star Trek podcast, as we have now repeatedly said, it's possible those references, along with many others, are going to slip in, but we don't get the buzzer for all the others. Those we just give to you free. Those can come fast and furious.
Get it?
As you wish.
Get it?
For
that. Sorry.
Just all right. We should get through this. I mean it.
It's a good reference.
Does anybody want a peanut?
Are you hearing what he's doing? Come on.
Oh man. Oh, all right. Hey, so that's I mean, really the buzzer is a game we play, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's fun. It's fun for us. Maybe not so fun for the listeners out there who have to hear I'm at, especially the ones that have the headphones in that are like deep in their head, and then
Well, it's cool. I normalize, so you're welcome
for the wonderful things we've done. All right, anyway, good Lord,
that's a nice callback from before, right? I get the joke now. I get that.
Listen, you know, that's not the only game we play here at Babylon 5 for the first time, Jeff.
Really?
Yes, we also get to the end of the episode and we play a game where yes, we also get I told you guys, you're getting it all.
Here we go. It's fine. It's gonna be an easy one.
You see, we also play another game when we get to the end of the episode where we try to guess what next week's episode is going to be about based on title alone, not reading show descriptions, not looking at thumbnails, not having seen the episode before. And this is the part of the show where we play yet another game called
Time to Pay the Piper.
And this is where we revisit that prediction from last week to see if we got it right. So, Jeff, what did you say All My Dreams Torn Asunder was going to be about?
Londo is going to walk in to the Alliance session that he was not invited to, and he's going to profess the Centauri's innocence. He's going to be loud. He's going to bloviate. He's going to be Londo, and it's not going to work, and it's going to cause pretty much the Interstellar Alliance to begin to fall apart, with Centauri getting kicked out and all-out war breaking out.
Jeff, you had that at 98% until the all-out war breaking out. I'm going to put an asterisk by that. I'm going to give you 100%. I don't think I've ever given you 100%.
Yeah, no.
I'm giving you 100%, but I'm putting an asterisk because we got to wait like maybe next week, maybe the week after to see if all-out war breaks out.
Fair enough. There's a good chance it doesn't, right? I mean, there's a lot of conditions around this. We'll see.
We'll see.
What did you think this episode is going to be about?
Well, I said that this was sounding an awful lot like the Alliance breaking up to me. I said the Centauri were going to be charged with the attacks on the shipping lanes. I said Londo was going to get railroaded. And my bold prediction was Londo is going to not become emperor. Now, before you pass your summary judgment, let me make a case in a defense that Londo never really got to make in his defense. The Centauri were charged with the shipping lane attacks. I think Londo very much got railroaded. And he did not become emperor in this episode. So
it's 100% of, I'm going to say 75% on this one, because you took a big swing.
Yeah.
And asterisks, right? It
Yes.
might pay off, and we can come back and pop this one up.
Listen, it's still on the table for being out there, for sure. For sure.
So what happens when you swing big like this, you sometimes got to look a couple episodes ahead. But right now, we're looking one episode now in the moment. Brent, for the people that are listening to us talk about this and are confused, they don't understand about this Alliance meeting or Londo professing innocence, or if people have never watched this before, or if they just need their memories jogged or anything like that, can you walk us through And All My Dreams Torn Asunder?
Well, it's a somber night in the Sheridan DeLynn quarters. She sits up, staring at a candle, contemplating. He's having trouble getting ready in the morning. You see, this is the day that they will bring formal charges against the Centauri Republic, and it's sickening to them. But they have to get to the bottom of these shipping lane attacks, and they have, perhaps unwisely, promised the member worlds of the Alliance that they will support any action that the members choose to take against the guilty party. As the council is convened, Londo is confined to his quarters. While the council hears the testimony of the witnesses, Londo and Veer are getting copies of the evidence to review for themselves. When Londo is finally brought before the council, he tears the evidence up in front of the member worlds, claiming that the evidence is circumstantial at best, that there's no real proof the Centauri are behind these attacks. Well, that is until Lanier shows up with the pièce de résistance, It's the video footage of the Centauri warships. Warships that they don't have registry numbers for, attacking the shipping lanes. Londo retires to confer with his government, but it's too late. John and Delenn unilaterally pass a summary judgment on the Centauri before they can actually give a defense. Centauri Prime is to be cut off from the Alliance, a blockade established until they acknowledge, apologize, and make reparations for the attacks on the shipping lanes. This doesn't sit too well with the Centauri, who still categorically deny their involvement. The evidence is falsified, they say. Perhaps it's fabricated or something else because they insist they just didn't do it. And that's when the Regent issues an order, withdrawing Centauri Prime from the Alliance, not recognizing the legality of the blockade, and promising warships to protect their shipping and transport vessels, who they insist will be moving freely about the galaxy, and a full-on defense if any of their ships are fired upon. With that, Londo is going to depart as soon as possible for Centauri Prime, never to return to Babylon 5. But Veer's going to stay behind, so that's nice. Jakar decides to go with Londo, who's going to need his own bodyguard now more than ever, and so that he can mess with him on the flight home. Jakar is treated not even as being a person when he arrives on Centauri Prime, particularly by the defense minister, who continues to deny the attacks are their fault. But he's also acting kind of shady, and he's not even letting Londo see the Regent, and he's not letting Veer talk to Londo over the comms channels when Veer tries to call in. As tensions rise and hostilities worsen, the defense minister even throws Jakar in jail for being a danger to the war operations. And Londo protests, "He's not going anywhere without me." And so Londo goes to jail too. In trying to prevent this all-out war from happening, Sheridan comes up with a plan to use the White Star fleet as a buffer between the Alliance blockade ships and the Centauri war vessels. The only problem, there's not enough of the fleet to cover everywhere all at once. So instead, they're going to have some folks out there monitoring the Centauri movements, and then they're going to relay that information back to Garibaldi, who will be on the station, who will then relay those coordinates to the fleet so that they can get ahead of them and be there to stop these movements and stop the war. Unfortunately, this doesn't work because once again, Garibaldi is passed out drunk in his quarters when the call comes in, despite having already been confronted about this very thing by Zach. This lapse results in the Centauri protecting their vessels from the blockade and firing on the nearby Alliance blockade ships, which ignites more open hostilities among the member worlds. So much so that Veer has to be moved to a safe house or safe quarters out of fear for his own safety, which is well-founded because en route, he and Franklin, who is escorting him, get jumped by a bunch of Brakari looking to take out their frustrations on Veer. In the council chambers, it's pandemonium, and Sheridan realizes that these members of the Alliance never really wanted peace. They never really wanted cooperation. They only wanted war. And he curses them for it and curses himself for falling for it. Back in their quarters, Delenn is again contemplating the candle, and Sheridan joins her. And she says one of the most profound things I've ever heard on Babylon 5, that at our core, we are all the same. It's our egos that have driven us to think that we are better than one or the other, and that life is precious, unique like the flame, and once extinguished, is gone forever. Jeff, what did you think of this episode, All My Dreams Torn Asunder?
Here we go. Right? The telepaths are heading out on Narn ships last week. Now, heading into most likely outright war with the Centauri. We've got everything that they served up in Deconstruction of Falling Stars. Here, we got Lita's stuff is going to intersect at some point. likely with Bester. That's going to ignite into the telepath war. And then we've got the start of what we were told, and that is going to be called the Drock War. So this is it. I think from this point forward, it's go, go, go.
This is the Drock War?
I think so. I'm still not clear on the whole, like, who the aliens and dark minions and servants are, but they called it the Drock War, and we saw Drock one time.
As I say, I think the Drock are the minions and the allies, or at least they're one of the chief races.
One of them, yeah.
We know that the Drock are the ones who are really behind the shipping lane attacks, and that they're using Centauri ships. Like, this is a thing we have established. We as the viewers know this, right? I'm not making that up. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's been like blatant crystal clear, but it's addition and subtraction math. Like, this is third grade arithmetic.
Yeah,
to get there.
I thought that's what we really determined when Londo and Jakar went back to Centauri Prime the first time.
Yeah, they put all the pieces in place, right? Like, they're watching all the logistics. They're doing, I mean, it's literally one baby step to, it's the Dark Minions or the Drock or whomever.
Gotcha.
I loved so much of this is an intense episode.
Yeah.
Like, this was good. This had some amazing monologues in it that were just powerful. I think what really works for me, though, in this one is, I've mentioned it before, Babylon 5 and its stories work because of the characters and how well developed they are and how connected we end up to them.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, and honestly, in a lot of this, so much of this series, Londo is the center of the universe. Everything is happening in orbit of Londo. And we talked a little bit last week about, like, if it's a Sheridan and Delenn, or a Londo Jakar episode, it's good. And the reality is, if Londo is the center of the universe for our story, we've got a good story. We've got a good episode.
Not Byron.
Yeah. No. In fact, antithesis is the word that comes to mind there.
Not King Arthur.
No. I actually forgot about that episode.
Let me dig that old wound up there.
Total aside, but it was a week or two after we watched that one. I for the Starfleet Leadership Academy, I actually I talked about, it was a Deep Space Nine episode, and I was like, and it was a dumb episode, and I'm like, this is a serialized show. Why are you wasting time like this? And then I did a drop from the Avalon.
I remember that. I thought that was hilarious.
Our good dear friends, the Yum Yum podcast, picked up on that. Comment.
I think that's where I found out about, was I saw them comment on it, and I was like, because I hadn't listened to it yet, and I was like, I'm one of those.
That was great.
Hey, by the way, if you folks aren't listening to the Starfleet Leadership Academy, go over and do that. You can find that wherever you get your podcast. It's a fantastic show, even if you're not a Star Trek fan, although you should be that as well.
Should be. Thank you. But you think about Londo, like, I was brought back to him complaining about the Centauri becoming basically a gift shop, open on Earth Standard Time, all the way now to him being imprisoned by his people trying to stop an intergalactic war.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I loved it. But, and I think people are going to hate my butt. I kind of hate that so much of Jakar in this episode, especially his stuff with Londo, was mostly played for laughs. I think it lessened his character. I think it was meant to relieve some of the intensity in this episode, and it did not. I found it annoying. I found it kind of off-putting. Didn't like that at all. There was stuff he did that was played for laughs, but was in the face of the Centauri. And we talked about that before when they went last time. I think that works, but there's other stuff he did on Babylon 5 that we can dive into. Is just like, really? But the one that's going to fire people up, my butt that people are going to really not like, I brought it up last week, and this week it happened again, but dude, Mira Furlan. Great lines, well-delivered lines, but like, I desperately want to blame the directing on this one, but her acting, the scenes with her just pulled me out of the episode. Ruined this episode for me. There's the forced laugh cry thing last week up to when she's going to hug Londo. And this one, when she was like trying to look prayerfully trying to look prayerfully intense, with the candle there. It did not work. And what it reminded me of was War Without End. When we got that incredible scene, she's holding her hand up to the candle and she's like, we are the gray. We stand between the candle and the star. And there was intensity and there was emotion, because she knew that Sinclair was on the station. It was a big deal and it was short. It was to the point. This one just drug on and I didn't buy it. I didn't believe that she believed it. And it really took two very intense scenes, the one in the beginning with her and then the one in the end when Sheridan sat with her, and it kind of ruined the episode.
Wow.
For me. Yeah, because I think those were supposed to be big, pull in the tent moments for this episode, and I'm just like, I don't buy it.
Folks, I'd just like to remind you, you can send your emails to Jeff at Babylon 5 First. That's the number 5 in the word.
Remember when they hated you? You remember that?
Yes, I do, because I've gotten some of it over the last few weeks, given everything we've gone through so far in season 5. But
yeah. But no, it's it took me out a lot of the big moments, and it's too bad. I mean, and we'll talk through them, and it's there, but I don't know. We've talked a little bit about the character of Delenn and some of the inconsistencies and some things there, but in these last 2 episodes, it's really been either the acting, the directing, or a combination of the two that just isn't doing the character any favors. What about you? What did you first hit on this one?
Jeff, this was a phenomenal episode for me.
Yeah.
All the way through. Before I give my thoughts, I would just like to say that I hear your experience. I appreciate that, and I accept that as being your experience of your first watch through this series.
Wait, so I just want to be clear. Are you saying that my watch can be different than your watch or someone else's watch?
Yes.
What?
Yes, it can.
What?
Yes. And I can actually respect that and honor that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can.
I didn't know that was a thing you could do in 2024. Wow. No cynicism here at all.
After 5 seasons of it, that being said, Jeff, I think you're bonkers.
Oh.
I loved this episode. This was a phenomenal episode. And I thought Mira Furlan gave a super strong performance that was laden with meaning. I will agree with you that I think particularly in the opening sequence, her and Sheridan seemed a little overly emotional about this whole situation. Yeah, it sucks, but I get the idea, their dreams are being torn asunder. This dream of this alliance, this dream of this united federation of planets that's all going to live peacefully, and we're going to work together, and we're going to rise above the stupid stuff that separates us. That is literally in jeopardy as of this morning, and they've got to be the ones to go deliver this news. Yes. I fully acknowledge that it just seemed a little over the top to me. When he's putting on his shoe and he just drops his shoe and his hair is kind of floppy or what,
And it's all slow-mo when it came down.
Yeah. And that, I'll chalk that up to editing. And you know what that wasn't? That wasn't somebody walking around with their hands held up with a sword, and then in their imagination there was no sword, and then getting stabbed in the back for no apparent reason, and then screaming out in pain in real life. It wasn't that level to me. But all that said, this is exactly what I wanted from season 5, this episode. Not just this episode, but where we are. Combine this with last week, with obviously where we're going next week, and for the weeks after. This, Jeff, what we're getting right now, what we're in the middle of, this is what we've been missing in season 5.
Totally.
This is what you and I have been complaining about, it seems like, for the last 13 episodes. This is what I expect of JMS in his writing. I'm sitting going, JMS writes better than this. I'm mad about the first half of season 5 because I know he can do better.
Right? We've seen it many times over.
Exactly. It was such a good episode. First, let me say this. for I guess it's like the third thing I'm saying. Whatever. When we said this last week, and I want to reiterate it this week, what you said. The show is better when it's Sheridan and Delenn at the center of the episode. Also, Londo and Jakar. I like what you kind of said about really, it's even just Londo. Yeah. If Londo is at the center, we're good. I might push back on that a little. I still think it needs to be like these guys all like this needs to be the crew that's front and center with it, which like it's got to be Sheridan. They can't just be paper pushing in the background like they have been for so many episodes. This may explain why I think season 5 has been so blah, is because those 4 have, except for a very handful of, rare times, have been shunted to the side while we get all this other stuff. And now they're back in it. I did make this bold prediction last week that Londo was going to lose his emperorship. And while that may not have come true in this episode, I'm just going to say it did end with him in jail.
It did. Yeah.
It did end with him in jail. And, can a person in jail become emperor?
Well, especially it's like, I'm not clear on Centauri politics because it was rumored he was going to be the next emperor. It was never guaranteed outside of what Lady Morella said, you will be emperor. But to your point last week, we know the future can change.
Yes. And we know that Londo doesn't want it.
Exactly.
We know there's so much about all of that. Jeff, I want to make another bold prediction about tonight.
Okay.
This one's not going to have to wait weeks to pay off. This will be wrapped up tonight, and it will be definitive one way or the other. Jeff, you have the rankings later on tonight. And I predict that this ranking, the question of where this episode falls in the ranking, is going to be based around this question. Was this episode better than or worse than The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari? That's right. This is either our new number 1 or number 2. It's one of the two. That's my bold prediction. You save it.
No, I'll just say that there were parts of this episode that were definitely some number 2. Because I'm 12 and I make jokes like that.
And I'm 13 and I still laugh at them. That said, I know we're going to dive in. We're going to discuss everything about it. So let me just say this from the outset. And I want to declare this. I am Team Londo on this one. He was right in everything he did. And everyone else except Jakar was wrong. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, probably like right now. Jeff, where would you like to go with so many of the pieces of this episode to discuss?
I'd like to talk about our new t-shirt design that just says Londo was right.
Yes. Yes. I just, have you seen it's in Londo's quarters. There's like a picture on the wall that it's the hair crest, but it looks like a 1960s Woodstock thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's that picture right there with Londo was right.
Yeah.
Centauri are innocent.
100%. Let's dive into the Garibaldi stuff.
Okay.
Because I think it's huge.
I glossed over it
I think it's huge. It's also not a lot, but it's massive. I want to start out talking about Garibaldi. I want to talk about Zach. And talking about Zach, I want to talk about Jeff Conaway.
Do it.
So this episode aired. I looked it up. I don't often look this up, but on this one I did because, oh my gosh, this one hit right in the feels for me. I'm a Jeff Conaway fan. I have made that clear, I think, from the second we first saw him on the screen.
And we were still calling him Canucky because we didn't know what his character's name was, and we didn't care because he was just Canucky.
He's Canucky.
Yeah.
So this episode aired June 10th in the United States, June 10th, 1998. Jeff Conaway died May 27th, 2011, almost exactly 13 years later. And he died from complications related to overdose. Opiates, cocaine, and some alcohol. Yeah. He was involved with celebrity rehab. Dr. Drew Pinsky was giving him a lot of care, surrounded by a lot of people, and was chasing sobriety again when he died. If you go back and watch into the old celebrity rehab stuff, it is heart-wrenching. He is a broken broken man, and it's hard to watch. But when Jeff Conaway, who was in recovery at the time of this, he was living a very healthy life at this point.
Oh, he looks so good. And that's not just makeup. Like,
so good.
So good.
Healthy, thin, and fit. Looked happy. A great job. You know, like he was regular. He was in the opening credits. But for him to look at Michael Garibaldi, at Jerry Doyle, two people that have addiction, to look at him and to speak those lines, to toss those oranges at him, do that whole thing. That wasn't acting. That was from the heart. I'm almost positive that someone did that for him at some point before that, you know, and it's just, I was floored by that scene.
Yeah. I don't think you could do that scene with two actors who have not lived that in real life. Not to that level. Those two guys, Jerry Doyle and Jeff Conaway, they freaking nailed that entire. You could feel every bit of that. You could feel every side of it. You could smell the alcohol coming off of Garibaldi.
It's the first time anybody finally acknowledged it, but you were in that moment.
Yeah, like you were just, I mean, you saw the look when he sets that PPG down on the table and he's like, look, if you want to hurt me, here's a cleaner way to do it. Maybe you just want to do it on yourself. It'll be quicker, cleaner, and you're going to take a lot less people with you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh. You know, and then you even get to the spot. Like, are you going to turn me in? Oh, are you going to turn me in? He's like, no, I'm not going to turn you in. He's like, I just need some time. We've been there. Right. I'll give you the time. Because, I mean, we have been following Garibaldi's relapse into addiction. We saw Lise confront him with it last week. This is the first time Conway's done it, though.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Zach has done it, right?
Direct. He's pulled the whole, like, dude, it's 10. We were supposed to meet at 8. And, like, what's going on? Yeah. He's called him on it, but not direct like this.
Yeah. I mean, to even be able to do something as sneaky as, hey, let me toss you a couple oranges because I'm going to test this. Because, like, he knew. As soon as he walked in, he knew. It was not something he just discovered. It's, you know. And I'll tell you what, he had better proof that Garibaldi was drunk than the council chambers had that the Centauri were responsible for the shipping.
100%.
So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've gotten to the end of this episode. We'll get there. I'm still not convinced the defense minister is wrong. You know what I mean?
Put a button in that because I want to come back to that because I don't want to be done with the Zach Garibaldi stuff. Here's a question. Is this whole war actually Zach Allen's fault? Because he let Garibaldi stay in his position.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I'm going to answer no, because you are not responsible for other people's actions.
Right.
It is not my job to police you.
But if you're
it literally is his job to police stuff. But
right. But no, if you're a human being though,
yeah,
that's a question. You sit in your quarters one night, and you're just like, oh my God, I had a chance to stop this from happening.
Yeah. Because Garibaldi went and got drunk again and missed the call when he was supposed to be doing something really, really important.
Yeah, what did I say? 3 episode radius on these things, and nailed it in one. And wow.
Well, I mean, at some point Sheridan's got to confront Garibaldi over this, right?
He got off pretty easy in this because he started to. I think Sheridan started to call him on it, but then all hell came running into the Alliance chambers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but a comeuppance is coming. Like, it has to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think JMS is going to let us limp out on Michael Garibaldi going through his entire story to end it with him in addiction, unless he is going to turn into a tragic character. And I don't know that I see that for Garibaldi, but we got 6 episodes left.
Yeah.
Jeff.
I mean, a lot could happen in that time.
Yeah.
I did think though it was weird with the plan, like Sheridan's plan. This isn't his first rodeo. Right. And you're going to put all your eggs in the Garibaldi basket. Like honestly,
well, I mean,
I was thinking
you're going to make him a linchpin is really what you're doing.
And I was thinking about just the logistics of the whole thing, because you've got people out all over the galaxy watching for this stuff to happen, right? Picking up the community, all this stuff. We're talking 24 hours a day. Was Garibaldi just supposed to sit and wait looking at the comm thing. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. You can't have that. Can't be just a one person
No.
job, because what if he's in the bathroom?
Yeah.
I mean, we know they don't go to the bathroom in Babylon 5. They just go there to talk and kick people out.
right, smell the Pakmara walking out of their stall.
Right.
But still, I get, yeah, just the whole thing from the setup last week to then Sheridan throwing the softball pitch and it was just like, well, of course this is going to happen. We saw it coming last week. I do think they had a massive missed opportunity here that I don't know that I can forgive, to be honest. This
as a production or
in the story itself.
Okay, what are you talking
Huge
about?
missed opportunity that frankly might actually impact my ranking, and you'll see what we get there. It was White Star. So the White Star goes and sees the thing and starts blasting Garibaldi, right? This White Star 43, we got this thing. You're going to whip out White Star 43 when literally right here, White Star 47 is staring you in the face? Come on.
40 anything, and I'm like, come on, it's got to be 47.
And if you're not gonna hit 47, go Hitchhikers and call it a 42, right? Like you got two options. Don't get smart here.
I can see JMS not doing 47, but 42. Like, he's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy guy.
For real. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what I got on Garibaldi.
I will say this one last piece for Garibaldi, and this kind of circles back around to the way that Zach wound up treating Garibaldi. Zach did to Garibaldi exactly what Garibaldi did to Franklin, right? Including not turning him in.
Yeah.
Including allowing him space to do what he needs to do, confronting him with the truth. The difference is we see what happened with Franklin. That's what sent Franklin off on Walkabout. Garibaldi went and got drunk and started a war.
Yeah. And all those years I was like, to hell with Franklin. Do you remember our season 1 wrap up? I said Garibaldi was my favorite character. And right now, keeping the score sheets, he's worse than Franklin.
Right now he is.
Right now.
But he's in the middle of his addiction right now, So Franklin's not. Actually, can we talk about Franklin for a moment? Dude can, all right, not only can he, look, it was a sucker punch that he threw, but it was a hell of a sucker punch, man.
I feel like he does Taibo in his spare time because he just whipped that out. Just boom.
He is sent to deliver Veer to safety. Okay. Why Franklin?
No.
That should have been Zach in the guard, right?
You'd think.
But
who knows? Maybe he's been training, right? And he's just like, come on, boss, put me in. I'm ready for this.
There you go. Put me in, coach. But listen, the whole idea of Veer needing to get to safety because bad stuff is possibly going to happen to him was absolutely correct. Although my thought was, can't they just lock the door?
You'd think, yeah. But also, I don't know. Apparently you can shoot PPGs through the door. We've seen that before. So
I guess.
I just hope they put him up in like a decent place. He's not stuck bunking with somebody or I don't think he would do well in that situation.
Like a la Gropos.
Yeah, exactly. He's not good. What was that dude's name? What was that big guy's name?
It was big, wasn't it?
Was it just big? Something I don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't see him shining the way Kemmer did in that. Or was that Keffer? I was getting Leon. I get Liana Kemmer and Keffer mixed up.
Right. Well, they both had about the same impact on the show. So,
oh, you know what though? Here it is, seasons later, we're still talking about him.
It is true.
There's something to that.
It's true.
So with the Alliance stuff, and throughout the episode, early on, and then at the cap at the end, there's a real big, heavy emphasis put on the promises that Sheridan made.
Yeah.
To me, go ahead.
No, please.
To me, I don't understand the Interstellar Alliance. And so help me out here. Like, they were the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. So this group that came together, they had one collective vote up against the Babylon 5 Advisory Council of the Big Six, right? 5 or 6? 6.
5.
It was 5. It was 5 because there were 6 votes, right? Total.
Yep.
So that's how it was set up. You know, this council up here's got most of the power and you have a say. So now it's new. It's all different. We're the Interstellar Alliance. And now we have a whole group of you that don't even necessarily have a vote because there's this Alliance Advisory Council and really just a supreme ruler of that advisory council that just kind of calls all the shots and then yells at you when you don't agree with the decision that they've made. Like, I think this is just a dressed up version of the League of Non-Aligned Worlds that's not working out for everyone else. And I can totally understand why this bit of pressure is completely making it fall apart.
So I'm gonna use a comparison that I'm sure most of our non-American friends are probably not going to understand, and probably, frankly, a lot of our American friends are also not going to understand, but I'm going to use it anyway. I think we are simply in the early days of the formation of a new nation, and this is what it was like for the Articles of Confederation before the Constitution came about. You know, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, in America, shortly after we had our Revolutionary War, or the little hissy fit, as our British friends might call it, we had this very loose, organized, not really organized very well form of government that didn't work. It was an awful form of government. There was no cohesion whatsoever, and they eventually did away with that and came up with the actual Constitution, which did bring some cohesion and allowed the nation to prosper and go forward. And they based a lot of it off of a lot of Native American ideas, a lot of Greek ideas, ancient Greek, ancient Roman type ideas, and went forward. I think we're seeing the Interstellar Alliance in those Article of Confederation days.
Okay.
Where they're still trying to figure this out. Like, they're literally learning on the job. Because I think you're right. The idea of the alliance was not to be the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. This is now the League of Aligned Worlds. They are aligned, but everybody's still kind of acting like they're not. You know, and they're going to have to go do some stuff. Let me point to something else that's right along the same line. Sheridan gets up there and says, "We'll support whatever decision you, the membership worlds, decide is appropriate." That is awful policy.
Yeah.
That is and Sheridan says it at the end. "I regret doing this and saying that we would do this." Yeah. And you've got to learn it.
Yeah.
Like,
here you are.
Like, it sounds good. We're going to be this democracy. Everybody's going to have a say. We'll support what you guys say. You guys will be up for your own deal. You'll still be able to be independent, but we're going to kind of do our own. We'll do a thing together. And then Sheridan gets confronted with what that really looks like. And he goes, "Yeah, we can't do that. I'm not sending the White Star Fleet out there." "Oh, well, actually, I need to now put them in a buffer zone."
Yeah.
And yeah, like, that was a horrible, horrible deal to say. They actually need like a prescribed, here's what we will do.
Yeah.
Not just, we'll just go with whatever you guys say.
Whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
We promise.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's I think the bottom line, I agree. It's a really great assessment, but the bottom line is it's not working.
Correct.
And this sham of a hearing just underscores it. This, like, the second they brought Franklin out to testify about the gun pattern stuff,
The rods and the cones,
which is, I mean, they backed it up with some stuff, and it was like, okay, but like, what are you doing?
So I kind of understood what they were talking about, because measuring frequencies and stuff and finding patterns, that's how we know like what's going on planets far away, because we know where certain gases and certain like where they hit frequencies, and when we see those, like, oh, that's what's going on out there because of that anyway, like that's a legit science thing.
Oh yeah. I don't poo-poo on that at all.
But it also depends on every alien species rods and cones acting the same as ours do in humans. And here's okay, let's talk about this trial, quote unquote trial. It's not really a trial, although they very much treated it like a trial. Okay. Franklin comes out and says, here's the evidence that Franklin basically says. It was Centauri weapons.
Yep.
That's all he said. It was Centauri weapons. We can confirm that it was Centauri weapons. Okay, cool. Garibaldi comes out and he says it was also Centauri weapons. Also, there's this one little thing where they did attack a Centauri ship, but there was really nothing going on with it. And so circumstantially, we can conclude that they just did this to throw us off the track.
Well, in my favorite part of Garibaldi's testimony, there's a button.
Yeah.
We got a button. So, yeah. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, I pulled this button off a guy that attacked me, and so that means that the Centauri are involved. No, that means somebody planted a button on you, dude.
Yeah. Or was wearing an old jacket, like went to an army surplus store.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a Centauri who's mixed up with a couple other people, and that just happens to be the guy you pulled off. Like, that is not evidence. Hard evidence that links that says the Centauri government has done this. And they failed in provide. They kept talking about proof. Even the video that Lanier brought in. Yep, that certainly looks like the warships. But Jeff, it was you who said it last week, I think. I didn't see who was driving those warships.
Exactly.
And Lanier came out and said, he's like, we don't have the registry. It's something to the effect of, we don't have the registry numbers on these ships. Meaning, we didn't know where these actually belonged, but they look like Centauri ships to us.
The defense minister, I mean, he brought such a, you know what? We had a whole bunch of stuff laying around from the Narn stuff. What's stopping them? What's stopping some pirate or some raider to come in and do this? All they proved in the
Londo, I'm sorry, to add on to that, Londo's like, we've been supplying your worlds with our weapons for years.
Exactly.
All you did was show that it was our weapons. This isn't us.
It's literally the only thing they proved was that Centauri materiel was used.
And when the ambassador says, he's confronted with something and says, I need to go confer with my government. And Sheridan stands up and goes, well, while you're doing that, tell them this. And he passes judgment, not having taken a vote, not having put it to the folks. He just passed it. And later he's like, well, the council is satisfied that you did this. That is BS satisfaction.
See earlier that we have a supreme ruler over a council who gets to make all the calls.
It's not okay. And it was awful. I really just want to chalk this up to JMS wasted 11 episodes dealing with Byron and realized he's now running out of time to deal with this actual really awesome issue.
Yeah.
That being said, I still stay true. This was a phenomenal episode, despite that being just awful. Like, I think when you put the magnifying glass to that, I think that's awful. And Londo turns around and he's like, okay, I got to get off here. And it's like, and I'll never come back is effectively what he said.
Yeah.
You know, now I get it. He's like, I probably will never come back. Things could change, whatever. But he's effectively saying, I'm never coming back to Babylon 5. Who just a couple episodes ago returned to Babylon 5 and was like, this is actually like home now.
Right. It's so sad because people just start falling into their old patterns, you know? And so like you talked about it, I think last week and today as well, where it's like, they already have the answer. I'm going to burn our third reference right now. Do you have any other that you need to make?
I've withheld like 5 references right now, just in case. So go ahead, brother.
This is 100% the Cardassians. Like, they're already guilty. They're already convicted. We're just going to put the trial on and construct the evidence to back it up. And this is the good guys doing it, but they're doing it, I think, very much because it's the Centauri. And everybody's got a dog in the fight when it comes to the Centauri. Yeah. But Londo's not innocent. in this. Londo slipped into old habits. Everything he said was correct. This is circumstantial evidence. You haven't proven anything. But the way he said it, this was coming of shadows, Londo. Yeah. This was Londo coming in, swinging a sledgehammer, and just being big and accusatory and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you are not helping yourself at all right now.
Yep.
Eesh.
But it's the bravado of really the Centauri. I don't know that that's just Londo. I think that's just the Centauri and how they are.
It's his old pattern. It's what he does. It's who he and his people are. 100%. Like this. Sure this is. I'm gonna get big here for a minute. There's an author, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote this incredible book called The Biology of Belief. This sounds a whole lot more woohoo than it really is. Like this is a scientific study of how we interact with the cells in our body. I won't go deep into it, except he talks about how as you grow and your cells are in a growth state, you can learn new things. But when you're put in danger, you revert to a subconscious, a protective state. And when you're in that state, you can't learn, you can't be the person you're trying to be. And we've seen Londo specifically for a long time now try to be a better. This whole series, we've seen him trying to become a better person. But in those cases, coming of shadows, and here and other points where he's put in that threatening position, all that growth goes away and he becomes that old Centauri Republican.
Well, I mean, even go back to, I think it was Signs Importance back in season 1 when we first met Morden, and he's going around going, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And he pushes Londo, and Londo's in a moment where he's just sort of pissed off in the moment. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, okay, you know what I want? I want the Centauri restored to their glory. I want the Nons obliterated, because he was pissed off at something in the moment. Like, you know, and Morden goes, I can use that.
Done and done.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. And I know, you know, you back me into a corner. Yeah, I think I probably revert to some more of my baser instincts. It's probably a lot true. Now, let me take all of this and say they were wrong for how they treated this. Londo got railroaded. It sure as heck looks like the Centauri are involved, because this defense minister is schmarmy as heck. Like, I do not trust this guy as far as I can throw this guy.
No, not at all.
Like, he seems 1,000%. You know, you can't talk to the regent. Why not? Well, he's just indisposed, and you know, you're not going to get it past me because I'm the one who's doing it. Like, it so looks like that. But as far as in a court, when you're having to make a full-on defense of, I mean, this seems like something that Congress is taking care of up there in Washington, not an actual court of law happening.
Yeah.
I have a question, though. Why does Londo still bow down to the regent? Like, why does he, and I don't mean physically bow down, although I'm sure he probably does, but like, why does everything that he says have to why does it get superseded by the regent? What, like, he is the prime minister, although he's not on world doing anything about it. And he is the soon to be emperor. A regent is just supposed to take care of your stuff for you while you're not there yet. Right? First of all, they never should have let if Londo's going to be the emperor, he should not have been going back and having a regent. He needed to be emperor.
Yeah, be there.
Like, that should be, but like maybe it's just, I don't understand how Centauri titles work. Like, maybe prime minister in Centauri does not mean the same thing that prime minister means here on Earth right now in this day and age. Why is the regent till death? That's only supposed to be until the emperor comes.
Yeah.
Like, really, Londo should just be able to go back and be like,
okay,
I'm ready now, and bam, transfer of power. Like, but even still, there's the regent. But if the emperor, soon to be emperor, walks in and says, no, this is the way it is, doesn't he kind of override the regent? Like,
you'd think, but I feel like it's dangerous to start doing that math, because let's talk about the Centauri emperor over the Republic that has a Centaurum, that it's like there's like 3 or 4 different active governments happening at the same time. And I think the emperor is like a supreme commander of stuff, but sometimes he's not. Or
is he just really a figurehead? Yeah. And again, So I chalk this up to, I just don't think we understand how the internal workings of Centauri politics work.
Yeah. Because Prime Minister to me just seems like a pretty big title for the guy who's still essentially the ambassador to the advisory council.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's why I got to believe like it must be more of an honorific title than an actual functional title.
Yeah, because the defense minister is working him. Like if you're prime minister, that means you get access to the monarch. Like that's part of the deal. You know, you're the one, but
you're the guy who's in charge of everybody as the prime minister. That's the way we would think of it. Again, I really think it might be more.
Look at you putting your Western European ideals onto the Centauri. Can't even keep it on the planet. Dude.
Jeez. Man, maybe we should just look at how Rome...
how they commissioned specific buttons with the emperor on them. And then, you know, at some point, X number of years later, that implicates you in shipping lane attacks. You know what I did love about this, though? Is
Are you transitioning? Because I have one more line about this whole piece I want to say.
Hit it.
Okay. There was one line though that I thought came out because my other problem with this is how they shun Londo in the middle of this. They're pretty sure Londo knows nothing about this. They're pretty sure like he's on your side. Do you not go to Londo and go, yo, Londo, what is going on here? What's going on with your homeworld? Is this really what you guys are doing? Right? Oh, well, things got leaked out. If you tell Londo that there's a leak, he'll plug it. You know, like, do you not use Londo on your side when all of this is happening? But they said this. They said Londo is our only hope for ending this. I found that incredibly interesting. And then he gets tossed in jail.
Right. Yeah. Shut that down real fast.
Right.
But he gets thrown in jail.
By the way, the Centauri arresting Jakar after everything went down is not the wrong move.
Oh, 100%. He's still an active member of the Alliance. They are at war for all intents and purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is not the wrong thing to do. And then I'll also say this, the smarmy minister guy, by the end, he's kind of growing on me.
Really? Like how so?
Yeah. Like when you first listen to him, you're like, there's no way this guy is trustworthy at all. This guy is completely behind everything. But Jeff, I'm starting to wonder, is he not actually being truthful?
Yeah, to what he believes.
Does he really not have anything to do and know what's going on with the shipping lane attacks? Does he really believe that this actually is the Centauri government getting set up and unjustly so? And for him, as far as he's concerned, they're only in a defensive posture right now.
So my theory is exactly that you've got him managing 95% of the Centauri force that they know they have, and he's got them patrolling and flying around and, you know, taking convoys or doing whatever. In fact, one of his guys got blowed up by when Garibaldi's thing. Like, this is a concerning thing. We have to be defensive. There's something going on, because over here is the regent with these aliens, whether they're Drock or minions or servants or whatever they are, whole operation coming out over there that he's not involved with at all. And so when he's telling Londo, you can't see the regent, he's indisposed at the moment. It's not him big timing him. It's almost like if he were to have been less of a jerkwater, he would have been like, dude, I know I can't even get an audience with this guy. He's stuck in this room all the time. I don't even know who's in there. I don't know what's happening.
Every time I talk to him. Yeah.
Take it like that. And all of a sudden, defense minister is just as much a victim of it as everyone else, which all of the Centauri are at this point.
Yeah. Except he's a Centauri, and we see how Centauri act, especially around other Centauri. Is they're always positioning. They're always trying to show that they have the upper hand. They're never looking stupid.
Always playing Darus de Demai, the game of houses from Wheel of Time. Like, it's always a political, look how important I am. I know that the region's schedule is full, so I'm more important than you. Although I could really use your help, Londo. But I will never ask for that, because that will cost me in status. The only person who I think really understood that was Jakar.
Mhm.
Only one who saw that. And he outright said it to Londo. This isn't you. This isn't how this works. He's the only one who could see that difference. And I don't know. It was a cool exploration of their relationship, but it was also just like, why will no one's talking to Londo, no one's listening to Jakar. They're just so laser focused on the outcome they want to get. It's frustrating. He says he's going to be a bodyguard. He's going to keep being Londo's bodyguard.
Yeah.
Couple questions on that. First, do we get a replacement on the council? Like, is there going to be another Narn that shows up to take his place?
Not Naroon.
Talon?
Not Natoth.
Talon?
Talon. Yeah,
Oh,
Talon.
that'd be
It should
cool.
be Talon, right?
Yeah, I'd be all for that.
1000% should be Talon.
And then he's heading off to Centauri Prime, so he hands Delenn this stack of new chapters.
Right, still writing his book.
Are there? So this is a question for you, being an educated Bible scholar. Are there? So the point of this. So there's two questions. The one I think we talked about before: unfinished books in the Bible. Like, is that a thing? And we talked about Acts of the Apostles before. But the other question I had is, he wanted to write these chapters specifically to set right some things he put in earlier chapters.
Sure.
Off the top of your head, are there examples of that, like in the Christian Bible, where there's a thing that's said here and then is contradicted, corrected, set straight later up here?
There are several examples where something is said here, people misunderstood, misinterpreted it, acted on it later, and then it is clarified much later. A prime example of that, if you guys will let me devolve into this for a little bit, is the entire Sermon on the Mount. Okay. In the Old Testament, God or whatever comes in and gives all of these, like, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. We want you to come out and be separate. We want you to do these things. Here are these rules and these laws. And the over hundreds of years, they really added a lot of extra rules to that weren't really found in the whole thing. And it became about whether or not you're keeping these rules or not. And Jesus comes in and he says, you've heard it said, honor your father and mother, or don't murder. But I say that if you even call somebody an idiot, you've already murdered them in your heart. And he goes on like this. And if you watch the entire, look at because it covers like 3 chapters in the book of Matthew. If you look at his entire sermon, it's all basically, hey, here's the rule, but it's really not about the rule. It's about the attitude of your heart. That was the message that he was trying to give, or at least as it's recorded in the Bible, So there is certainly many examples of, here's what I said. You guys didn't really understand where I was going with it, so let me clarify. You certainly see that. What you don't see is, hey, here I said something, and now I'm going to come in and just completely countermand it. Because even if you look at this idea of, oh gosh, I'm going really deep into all this.
I knew this would be good. I knew it.
If you look at an old covenant versus a new covenant, one required sacrifices, what we're going to take. The new covenant, it really didn't change. It's just one was a fulfillment of the other. Like, here's the promise that's going on, and now that promise is being fulfilled in the person of the Christ. So yeah, it didn't really change, for that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I think, because you also asked, are there unfinished books of the Bible?
Yeah.
And the thing with that is now you're coming into something called lower textual criticism. And this is actually where my specialty comes into play, which is, how do you know that this particular set of books are the books of the Bible and not, say, the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Mary or the lost chapters of Acts or the Apocrypha or anything like that. And that really just simply comes back to a general idea of it is mankind. It is the church that is guided by the Holy Spirit, if you're in that faith and you believe of that sort of thing, that it is the church that's guided by the Holy Spirit to recognize what is canonical and what is not. It's the idea of what's in the canon. You know, JMS gets to go, that's canon, that's not canon, because he's the creator and he can do it. He's the great maker, right? We don't have that sort of connection with God, who supposedly wrote, superintended the writing of everything. So it's really mankind saying, yep, that's closed, no, that's open, yep, that's closed. And as far as the Christian Bible goes, back in like 4 something at the Council of Nicaea is where they declared everything to be closed. And then we can have questions about ex cathedra and all of that sort of stuff, which comes down to Martin Luther and Sola Scriptura later on, and lots of words that I hope you're going to edit all that out.
I'm
Jeff,
keeping every piece of this in. This is so good.
Oh my word!
I love
Please, I put it in like extra viewing or something. I don't know. Oh my gosh! Did that answer your question at all, or did I just make it way more confusing?
Nope, absolutely answered the question. I just thought it was an interesting concept of, because I think that's a thing that whatever your faith is, you're the Messiah, the prophet, the whomever it is that you have, we, through the lens of history, can look back and see this perfect being who did all these things great. But the reality is, like, it was probably a lot like it was for Jakar, we didn't talk about it in this context, but when he was being questioned, you can imagine, and I'm gonna say this from a Christian faith, that's my background, but you can see Jesus sitting around a fire, with the disciples, the apostles, and them being like, well, last night you said blah blah blah, and him being like, oh, Jesus Christ. Are you not listening to me? Like, let me lay this out for you. And we're getting to see that play out with Jakar. And so I think there's like that potential for some really interesting commentary on scripture, as well as he kind of goes through and he's like, okay, well, maybe what I need to say is this, because people aren't hearing it the way. It's great analysis.
I would also simply say to really impact with Jakar, like where he's adding extra chapters and stuff like that. There is a principle that we use that just because something was written by a particular author who has something included in the canon of scripture does not mean that everything that author wrote is included in canon. Like, we know, for example, included in canon is 1st and 2nd Chronicles, epistles written from Paul to the not Chronicles, though that is there true. Corinthians, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, letters written from Paul to the church at Corinth. We also know that there's a 3rd one out there, and probably a 4th and 5th one. Why is 1 and 2 included, but not 3, 4, and 5?
Right. It's like, how come?
And it is 1 and 2 actually chronologically 1 and 2? It really could be like 2nd and 4th or something like that. Like, why are these included and the others aren't? Because not everything that somebody writes is included. And so to bring this back to this conversation, and what I find really interesting is this now actually sets up a potential debate and dividing line among the followers of Jakar of, do you include these extra chapters, which are only to be delivered after he dies, right?
Yeah.
And are they going to believe that they were actually written by Jakar? And if they are, should they actually be included in the book of Jakar or not? And that's all a legit debate, because just because Jakar wrote it doesn't mean, like, the Constitution of the Interstellar Alliance, Jakar wrote it. Does it get included in the book of Jakar?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, but Jakar wrote it. Yeah, but should it really be?
But they get to Centauri Prime, they get treated like garbage. I was so impressed with Londo.
Well, you know what we got when they got to Centauri Prime? And maybe you're getting into this. We got one of my favorite memes that I've been like, I don't know that I probably found this somewhere in the middle of season 3, and I swore we heard it earlier, but this is it. It's Jakar going, it's a natural musk. I find it pleasant, or I rather like it, or something like that.
I didn't know that was a meme. I didn't.
Yeah,
that was one of the lines, right? I mentioned some of the stuff where I I know that's his defiance, right? Those jokes, his stuff. You know, we had the one before of just like, oh, well, let me know when supper is, you know, and those things. But I still, and I think this one played off better. The one that really bothered me was earlier when he's talking to Delenn and he's like, yeah, I already booked passage. I got the seat right next to him. Yeah, he hates talking to people. I know, it's going to be great.
See, I thought that was so classic Jakar. I thought that was hilarious. And it was so, and the thing is with Jakar, here's, I didn't take that as being mean or spiteful, but as like, frankly, as two friends, a guy who knows a friend, and I'm going to go mess with you now because I'm your friend.
It's that loving ball busting that we do so well.
It really is. That's the way I interpret it. So, you know, that one played 1,000% true to me.
I think for me, it was placement in the episode where it was just because, like, on Centauri Prime, it made sense. He was being defiant. He was standing. He was his little victories over them and the indignities and stuff. There, it was just like you're handing over your holy books. You're stepping away from the council. You're probably never going to come back here again. And like, yes, we'd leave a little parting joke, ha ha ha. But also, everything was ramped up to 11, and it just came in a thing where it's like, but not the right time. A good line, funny, like nothing was not funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think this wasn't an episode to play things for laughs.
Again, if you'd like to send in your emails, you can do that to Jeff at Babylon5first@gmail.com.
But through all of it, even with Jakar sitting next to Londo and talking his ear off the whole flight, they get down and Londo, to the bitter end, stands up for Jakar. Yeah, I loved it.
Sure does. Absolutely. To the point of getting thrown in prison with Jakar, which is right where he needed to be.
How quickly did you know that was going to happen?
It happened all so fast that as soon as I tracked it as it happened. Like I didn't predict Londo going to jail with Jakar.
I felt like there was this second where like his chest puffed just a little bit more. He was like, well, if you're going to, I'm like, oh, he's totally going to jail with him. Like this is going to happen. But here's my bold prediction on what's the point, right? What is the point of putting him in jail with Jakar? To get him in a spot where they can install his little neck controller keeper thing on him. I think, again, I'm going to give myself that 3 episode radius, but I think that is happening.
Okay.
Because I think that the War Without End is the future that we're headed towards.
Oh, I really don't want it to be.
Yeah. Neither does Londo.
I really want the story to avoid the crap that we saw there. Like, you know.
Yeah, that was not fun at all.
No. Because you know what it is because I don't want Londo and Jakar to choke each other out at the end. I don't want Londo to live his life with a little thing on his shoulder or on his neck or whatever it is. Like, I want better for him than that.
And to have to do the things that led him to that moment with Sheridan, you know, just like, we're going to kill you, dude.
Well, because the War Without End is 18 years in the future or something like that.
17, 18 years.
Like, it's a long time into the future, like supposedly right before Sheridan dies. Well, Sheridan's only supposed to live for another 20 years.
And at this point, it was like, I think it was 17 years back in season 3. So we're looking at 15 years now.
Right. And then we've had most of this year. So, you know, that means, Jeff, what that means is this whole thing with Centauri Prime and the Alliance, that doesn't get resolved.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what that means, is we have to leave this with Centauri being outside of the Interstellar Alliance.
And on fire.
Yeah.
Burning and with all the leftover pieces.
And they haven't gotten their stuff, you know, fixed yet. And like when we talk about giving us hope for a better future, like,
yeah, not so much, at least not in the near 15-ish year future. But Brent,
Yes,
I
sir.
think we're at a point in this episode where you actually get to talk about that a little bit. This is the point where we start to boil this whole thing down and see if this episode does give us hope for the future, if it has any morals or messages tied to it, any of those really great Babylon 5 messages delivered in the way that only Babylon 5 can do. You get to do that by rating this on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars. So, Brent, what do you got for us?
So I was actively looking for this, as I usually do, and I remember I was just kind of struggling with it as I was going forward. And I was trying to apply the litmus test, and I'll tell you where I came down to was 3 white stars, and where I kind of got to that was um I asked, does this give us hope for a better future? Is it a mirror to society? Is it delivering some moral message that we need to hear? Like that's kind of always been our litmus test since season 1, right? And so I was thinking about, I was like, okay, so you have the Alliance, aka the Federation. Okay. They made a grave error in passing judgment without proof. We've discussed that already. That's just not how you handle stuff. It may not be, they may not be wrong in the end. Like it really may be the Centauri. That's just not how we handle it. Also, like I said, if they trust Londo and they think he's innocent, why would they not bring him into it and leverage him? Picard would have done that. Picard would have used that, right? They would have done everything they could over in Star Trek to avoid war and conflict, and that's not what's happening here. So are we getting hope for a better future? No. No. And I'm just saying this is how that would have happened over there, because this is Babylon 5. Babylon 5 is doing it different. I'm recognizing that, folks. Okay. Was this holding up a mirror to society? That's kind of the other litmus test. And while I agree that Babylon 5 is more real and realistic than the idealized version of Star Trek, part of the idea of a mirror to society isn't just showing us ourselves, but showing us why we are awful. And they really didn't do that with the Alliance, because I think we were just supposed to be on their side. And we were supposed to go, yep, that's proof. Yep, that's proof. Yep, that's proof. And it's not really a mirror. They're not saying, hey, let's show you yourself. Like, I don't think that's really what was happening here. And then Sheridan exposes all the council members at the end. He's like, you don't want peace. You don't want cooperation. You just wanted war. And damn you for asking for it. And damn me for agreeing to it. This is regret and frustration, because this is not how the United Federation of Planets, the Interstellar Alliance, is supposed to behave. This idea that we get into the future to hit this utopian society where we can all come together and overcome our differences. Instead, this actually rings a lot more to me like what Picard season 1 told us that it was supposed to be about. Then Jean-Luc declared the reason he left Starfleet is because it wasn't Starfleet anymore, right? But then, Jeff, then, and I'm thinking like then this happens. The Centauri open fire on the Alliance, and Franklin comes to get Veer to get him to safety. We get this scene. And Veer's going to be a target. And they get met in the hallway by the Brikiri. And he says, his kind. If we can't take it out on them, then we're going to take it out on him. And this goes back to this idea we've discussed on this show many times before, Jeff, the idea of dehumanizing somebody, taking away their individuality, taking away their identity, and making a single person who they themselves are not guilty and not at fault, but you're making them culpable for the actions of others that look like him or her. Sadly, I think this is something we do see quite a bit more and more, unfortunately, in our world today. And we're seeing it happen here and now in the form of this show. Here in America, we are in the midst of another presidential election cycle. In fact, we're getting really close to the election, and things are hotter now than they ever have been before. One of the phrases that I hate during this time for us here in America is vote blue or vote red. Vote this way, vote that way. all the Republicans, all the Democrats, all the liberals, all the conservatives, all the capitalists, all the socialists, all the this, all the that. When you reduce a person to this group, you take away their humanity and you categorically pass judgment on them, you are wrong for doing so. It reminded me of the great words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will be judged by, well, they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And if I may, to judge anyone based on anything other than the content of their character is wrong. To judge them based solely on their nationality, their family history, their political affiliation, their tax bracket, their hair color, their eye color, their gender, the people that they choose to love, how they choose to dress. It's wrong. It's wrong." Was this the crux of the episode? Was this what the episode was all boiling down to? No, but it's still a really strong message. So that's where my 3 white stars really came from. And then we get to the end of the episode. And it does all boil down. Everything that happens leads to this one moment, this one speech by Delenn, which does show what the episode was about. It shows what the intent of the episode was, what JMS himself as the writer personally believes. One which, by the way, is remarkably similar to the sentiment shared by Dr. King. One which we would all do well, especially those of us here in America right now, to remember. And she says, "We are all born as molecules in the hearts of a billion stars. Molecules that don't understand politics or differences. And over a billion years, we foolish molecules forget who we are and where we came from. In desperate acts of egos, we give ourselves names. We fight over lines on maps and pretend that our light is better than everyone else's. Ouch." The flame reminds us that the piece of those stars that lives inside of us, the spark that tells us you should know better. And the flame also reminds us that each life is precious, that each flame is unique, and when it goes out, it's gone forever, and there will never be another quite like it. I wonder some days if we can see anything at all. Jeff, I don't have to comment on that anymore because that says it exactly as it is. It says exactly for what it means. Jeff, this is a 5 white star episode. That's what everything in this episode led to, is that message right there. Our light is not better than everyone else's. Lives are precious, and it is our egos that drive these differences, and we would do well to put those aside to find this hope for the future. And this is a way that there is no character on Star Trek who could have delivered this speech. This was a Delenn only type of a speech. Maybe Lanier, possibly, but it still wouldn't have come out the way that Delenn delivered it. 5 white stars episode for me through and through.
I think this is a theme that carries not just in this episode, but through Babylon 5. You know, I mean, yeah. Babylon 5 is this is a story of conflict. And that conflict is because people, I love the line so much, believe their light shines brighter than others. And I really loved that whole piece from Delenn as well, because not only did it tie back to their belief, right? And they were all just manifestations of the same universe. We're all actually connected to the same thing. And it ties back to what I mentioned earlier. I mean, shoot, that Dr. Bruce Lipton in the biology of belief, the premise of the book is that we are not an individual as a person. We are 50 trillion life forms, cells that are independent and work. We are a relationship. That is what a life form is, a relationship of 50 trillion cells. So what makes me any better than anybody else, right? I'm just another relationship. That's a great. I love it. That's a fantastic rating. that was expertly delivered by Delenn, and it just wrapped such a beautiful bow on this whole thing, and you're like, bing, there it is.
When you can go through an episode and you go, okay, what's the point? What's the point? Where are we going? Where are we going? And then you get to this one little bit at the end, and it pulls everything together, and you're like, oh gosh, yes, that's phenomenal writing. That is so good. And by the way, when you understand the opening scene of Delenn sitting there staring at this candle, and you think about that in light of the speech at the end, that she's going back, she's staring at the candle, like that's what she's doing, that's what she's thinking of. And Sheridan, to start with, is just being a goob, like, come on back to bed, hun, like, what are we doing, like, come on. And then he actually goes, hey, can I come sit with you? Can I come join you in this? Instead of like telling you to come back to bed, can I just come be with you in this? And holy cow, he learned something. We all do.
Yeah.
We're all better because Sheridan chose to engage and sit down rather than go back to bed.
Yep.
Jeff?
Brent.
I am going to take my shoe off and prepare to throw it through the computer screen at you if you don't get this right. You get to rank this episode. You get to place it in the ranking. Our 100% completely accurate, immutable, set in stone until we change it later, ranking. Our current top 5 is The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari. No compromises. Those are the first 2 episodes of the whole season, aren't they? Learning Curve, The Ragged Edge, and View from the Gallery. Even 6's Day of the Dead. Jeff, where do you place All My Dreams Torn Asunder?
So you called it.
Don't let me influence you.
Right.
You place it where you want to.
So you called
but you
it.
better place it right.
Number 1 or number 2. It's kind of what you said on this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking right now about I didn't start watching Babylon 5 and didn't agree to start this podcast so I could disappoint people. That was never my intention. It's not something I want to do. Now I'm about to give my ranking, and I'm going to use this as a moment, and I'm going to stretch this out a little bit and say that my notes are posted on our Patreon, patreon.com/Babylon5first, the number 5, the word first. So there's a chunk of you out there, a couple hundred of you that already know what this is. This whole episode, you've known what this is. So you won't, well, if you had any level of disappointment, you've worked through that already. So for the rest of you,
by the way, I do not read your notes before we record,
Same.
So I'm very interested to know where this is going.
So for the rest of you, I'm just going to give you a moment to brace yourselves, because I am going to rate this one right above an episode that I'll name, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that episode. And I'm going to rank it right above No Compromises as the number 2 in season 5.
Oh my God. Jeff, I had my response prepared, and it would have been me about 6 feet away from my mic, you hearing me just as clear as you're hearing me right now. Okay. Yes, yeah. You are correct.
Number 2.
You are correct. This is I would have been happy with number 1 because I quite love what this episode has done all the way through. Very Long Night of Londo Mollari is the gap between Londo Mollari and No Compromises is rather large.
I was literally, when I was preparing where I wanted to put this, I looked at it and I was just like, how is No Compromises in the number 2 spot? And it was actually in this episode when I hit the drop, right?
Time to pay the piper.
That came from No Compromises, and I'm like, oh my God, that's our number 2 episode? Yeah, this definitely belongs in that spot. There's no question. I still think there are some pretty severe flaws in this episode, but they are not big. They don't ruin it. They took me out of it for a moment. It's 90s sci-fi, right? Like, that's going to happen. This was an amazing episode. This is destination viewing. This is one of Babylon 5's finest moments. Great episode.
Thoroughly agree.
And with that, we're done. with an All My Dreams Torn Asunder. Next week, we're going to be watching Movements of Fire and Shadow for the first time.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Movements of Fire and Shadow. Now, Brent asked me to say that again.
Very George R. R. Martin sounding title there. All right, go ahead, Jeff.
And it's back up the songs of fire. But Brent asked me to repeat that because a game we play is that we guess what the next episode is going to be. We make a prediction based on the title alone. We don't look at the synopses, the descriptions, we don't look at thumbnails. Brent, just about every time, hears it for the very first time when I say it, which is why he was asking me to say it again. And so, off the cuff, Brent, knowing what you know from this episode and the title, what do you think Movements of Fire and Shadow are going to be about?
You about said fire.
I did.
Okay, so the Alliance is broken at the end of this episode. I maybe we're not fully broken yet, but it's certainly on tenuous terms. The Centauri War is raging. We're going on. We're yet in another Centauri War in Babylon 5. So do the Drakh come out in the open here? Because this has to happen at some point. We only got 6 episodes left. The shadow. Oh, the Drakh are the minions and the allies of the shadows, right? Jeff, I got it. I got it. Here it is. You ready? This is gonna be real high level simple, but it is what it is. While the war is raging on, the movements of fire, the Drakh are coming out into the light, the movements of shadow. That's what I got. This is we discover, or Londo discover, whatever. The Drakh are really the ones who've been pulling the strings while the war is raging on. That's the movements of fire and shadow is what we're talking about here.
I'm really close. I think that fire and shadow both have very big, those are meaningful words in the Babylon 5 universe, right? How does this all end? Emperor Turin asks Kosh, and Kosh says, in fire. And then shadows, right? We got 3.5 seasons of that storyline. So I'm really close. This is the episode where the Dark Minions get revealed explicitly to us, the viewer, probably to Londo as well. Like that'll be the mechanism to get revealed to us. And huge war. Like I think I actually said this last week even, but I'm picturing like, you know, the big like homecoming battle sequences in space, just massive warships, explosions, the whole thing. And I think we're going to get the seeds laid out that will pave the road for the dissolution of the Alliance. Maybe it's like, I don't know, just kind of speculating, a group going rogue, maybe a group that joins up with the Centaur, like some splinter, some fracture in the Alliance that's going to start showing us that they're gonna break up.
Do you think the telepaths, the remaining telepaths, have the same effect on the Drakh that they had on the shadows?
That's a really good question.
Maybe. Listen, the Centauri are now separate. The telepaths have been looking for a new home. Do the telepaths and the Centauri link up and become kind of a thing?
And leave Centauri Prime to the Drakh? Maybe.
I don't think so. I'm sticking with my thing. I think this is a reveal episode. I mean, Jeff, we're what, 6 episodes left. Like the Drakh have to be the bad guys now. Like we have to meet them. They have to be the bad guys so that we can fight them by the end. Like,
yeah, we got to get into the inner workings.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get there. We'll find out right here next week. Thank you all so much for joining us on this discussion of And All My Dreams Torn Asunder. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening or wherever you're watching us. Leave us a rating and a review, and please share the podcast or share the video with someone who loves Babylon 5 or is just about to fall in love with this incredible series. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what's up?
So do you remember last week when we talked about, like, for Babylon 5 for the second time, reacting to our own videos?
Oh, yeah, totally regret even bringing that up.
Yeah, well, you did. And now people are thinking that that's actually going to happen. And I kind of feel like we need to like make sure that they understand that that's really
enough.
not necessarily what's going to happen.
That's
because
enough. That's enough. Damn you for asking for it. And damn us for agreeing to it. And damn us all to hell. Because that is exactly where we're going.
Well, then let's get the hell out of here.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Freaked my kid out with that one.
Are you okay, Dad? Are you okay? All right. Hey, guys, listen, we said that Jeff's got to get out of here, so we are going to go ahead and let Jeff go. And with that, I guess I'm just going to go too. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Drop 65 down in the bottom. It's Real Short Club this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do some more stuff then. But until next time, we'll talk to you guys next week. Join us for Brent Reacts later. Bye.
Sorry about that.